Heyo guys, Dragon Empress here. Endeavor is a good character. No, Endeavor is a great character. And yes, he is way better than Bakugo in my opinion. And no, I'm not going to say he's a better version of Bakugo. I'm just going to say he's way better than Bakugo. And let me explain why. No, when I first saw Endeavor in the anime, because I read the manga after the anime, he was just some mean old dad to me, and I didn't really mind him as much as I minded like Mineta and Bakugo. But as soon as season 2 hit and he ended up being the number one hero, that's when I started to get interested. And then once it showed the backstory with him abusing the Shoto family and the way he like beat Ray to the point that she waited for the right moment to pour boiling water on Todoroki's eye, I was like, okay, this character is supposed to be unlikable, but why do I find Bakugo more unlikable? Because later on throughout the seasons, Endeavor ends up trying to make up for his actions, being a good hero and being a good father. And sure, at first Shoto hates him too. He even refused to use the burning side of his quirk. And if you guys are new to this, you don't know that Shoto has two quirks, fire and ice, and he has two sides of his body. The only reason why he didn't want to use his left half is because he thought that Endeavor was in charge of the mom burning the left half. And I don't get why he didn't blame the mom for this abuse, since she's the one who poured hot water on his face and even said, "Oh no, Shoto, I'm sorry," but said on the phone completely that she didn't want the children and she didn't want any of the family members near her ever again. And I blame the insanity mostly on Ray Todoroki rather than Endeavor. Because while Endeavor did abuse her, and don't get me wrong, abuse is very, very toxic in any sort of way. A male or female should not be abused in their family, but at the same time, that doesn't mean she should abuse her son and pour hot water on his face. That was complete insanity right there. She just lost her mind.
I can't raise him anymore. I want to run away from this life. Mom, what are you saying?
So, yes, this whole entire family is overall psychotic. And not to mention, Endeavor training Shoto in order for him to become stronger and ends up abusing him as a child. That is not okay either. But what makes this character fascinating is that I can't stop thinking about and talking about him. And that's a great character right there. Not a great person, but a really great character. He's well developed, he's very interesting, more interesting than Deku's mom, oddly enough, even though I like her. He has like a tragic backstory since his own father abused him, as we learn later on in the chapters. And that's why he treated Shoto this way in order for him to become stronger, and that's how Endeavor became stronger. But he later on learns that this is not okay. This is abuse. And even Natsu Todoroki, the middle child of the family, he got really pissed at his father and couldn't let go of the trauma, even though his father apologized. And by the way, you know Dabi, that villain? Endeavor accidentally made him a villain. Spoilers, but in the manga, instead of black hair, Dabi's revealed to have white hair, and his real name is Toya Todoroki. Such a funny name. Toya. Toy Story! Let me not lose my focus here. So, Toya Todoroki was a kid gifted with the quirk of blue fire, and the blue fire was said to be more powerful than Endeavor's. and he wanted to be just like his dad, Endeavor. He wanted to be a hero. But Endeavor said, no, this isn't safe for you. And he was being a good dad by saying, I'm sorry, but I don't want to train you. This power will hurt you. And because of this, his Toya kept on going in the forest and training himself and saying, look, Daddy, I can be you too. I could do this too. And he ended up like going insane. And Rei Todoroki did not help. I know I keep on putting shade on Rei in this, but Rei did not help at all. And she ended up like letting him train in it. She's like, why don't you let him be a hero too? And Endeavor's like, no, because he'll burn himself just using his quirk. And then Toya Todoroki ends up quote unquote dying because of his quirk, and the whole family thought he was dead. And Endeavor still blames himself every day and even has a shrine of Toya Todoroki. But then later on in the future, Dabi ends up getting picked up by these guys, aka Toya Todoroki. He ends up getting picked up by Dr. Garachi from the League of Villains and ends up being groomed to become a villain. So, yeah, while this is technically Ray's fault, it's also the father's fault for like not keeping his kid inside the house and instead of like letting him escape out in order to train himself. And he also gave him this hero mindset. Dobby could have been a police officer or something, but nope, he wanted to become a hero like his dad. And it's because of this strong will to become a hero that this family ends up in these abusive situations. And Natsu was also a friend of Dabi, so he also blames the death on Endeavor. All of this stuff is pressured on Endeavor, and it makes you feel kind of bad for the character despite him so called being abusive and all that. So, yes, while I don't justify abusive behavior, I think this character is absolutely great and well written. And this is later in season 5 when the father ends up saving Natsu Todoroki from this villain called End. And by the way, that's the most forgettable villain in the world. He controls street lines, seriously. But anyways, nonetheless, it's a very fascinating point that even if you save those individuals, even when you try your hardest to be forgiven, they will not forgive you. And in the end, like, that's okay, that's life, because at least Shoto and Fumiami Todoroki, the daughter, I know they have a lot of children, but the daughter of the family forgives Endeavor and just wants them all to be a happy family. And even though Rei Todoroki's in the hospital, Shoto and Endeavor still visit them. And there's a scene in the manga that's very special to me when all the family members came together to Endeavor's hospital bed to discuss Dabi Todoroki and their family situation in general and how they could work things out. And that felt like the most human part of the manga ever, and it made me love Endeavor even more. So yeah, I don't really care what you guys say about him. You could hate Endeavor more than Bakugo all you want, but I'm sticking to my opinion. I think Endeavor is the best written character in this manga. Thanks for watching! I have an Instagram called FortStar84 if you want to visit that, and a Wattpad too called Evie the Tigress. Like, comment, and subscribe! Bye bye!